No, by the way, one more thing. Tonight, after all this ass kicking, The Rock is gonna go out in San Diego. I'm a little hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat. When The Rock goes out to get something to eat tonight in San Diego, should The Rock sit in a booth? Or should The Rock sit at the bar? Yeah, The Rock loves the bar too. Or should The Rock sit at the head of the table? I love you too, San Diego, and that's what I thought. If you smell what The Rock is cooking.
Do I see Rock versus Roman happening at WrestleMania? No, I don't. We are 7 days into the new year. 7 days into the new year. And the wrestling world is going crazy right now. Going crazy. So much so that we are on grounds that we're not familiar with. Like, most wrestling fans are kind of just like, you know, we have an ideal of what the next months is going to look like normally. We're unsure now with that clip right there. That what you just heard. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Wrestle Talk with the franchise, the podcast, Tribal Chief. First and foremost, Happy New Year's to everybody. I hope that y'all had a great New Year's. I, unfortunately, if you guys watched or followed the Instagram page, which is RCW_podcast, you knew I was under the weather. I was sick. I got sick the day after Christmas and was out for pretty much that whole time. So my, time was pretty much spent trying to recover. But that's why I was not able to give y'all the year in review that I wanted to do. So if you go to the page, or if you have seen it on the page, I did give my awards. I gave who I thought was the Wrestler of the Year, male, female, overall, breakout stars, moment, return, things like that. So with all that being said, we have stuff that we need to discuss. We do. We have tons of topics to discuss. I have roughly about 2 pages of stuff that I need to cover. I don't want to waste time, like I always say. So let's jump right into it. Where should we start? Should we start with the opening, with The Rock returning? Do we talk about Royal Rumble talk? Friday Night SmackDown, we seen that it was announced that it's a fatal 4-way for the Undisputed Universal Heavyweight title. And we also know that Kevin Owens is going to be facing Logan Paul at Royal Rumble. Do we talk about AEW? Do we talk about World's End? Do we talk about the devil being revealed? Do we talk about that right now? Do we talk about the CM Punk Seth Rollins? Because I didn't even have a chance to give y'all my reaction to the face-off between the two of them. You know? Do I talk about that first? Do I bring up the whole talk of Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné, and the bidding war that seems to be going on? Is she going to AEW? Is she going back to WWE? Is she going to Impact or TNA now? We know Trinity apparently is coming back to the WWE. It's only a matter of time before she shows back up. And apparently when she shows up, they have big plans for her. So much to get into. I'm just going to go with the flow. I have a docket right here. Like I said, 2 pages worth of content. And I have it in a certain order. But I'm going to start with the least amount of content or the least amount of energy I want to put into this particular conversation, and that is in AEW, and that is with the World's End. Okay, World's End happened on December 30th, the last pay-per-view for AEW of the year. My thoughts on the show by itself, it was a glorified Dynamite, to my opinion, until the last 3 matches. The Edge, or Adam Copeland, I'm so used to calling him Edge, Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage for the TNT title. Eddie Kingston versus Moxley in the Continental Classic Finals. And obviously the main event, MJF versus Samoa Joe, with the devil being revealed as Adam Cole. And now we know that Adam Cole has formed the Undisputed Kingdom, which I love the name. I love the name. Very interesting, though, because there was a part where on Dynamite where he was talking and Adam Cole had said that Roderick Strong, I believe, is going for the AEW not Continental, because that's the title that Orange Cassidy has. I drew a brain fart. So the title that Orange Cassidy has, Adam Cole kind of laid out what's going to happen with the Undisputed Kingdom. Roderick Strong is will be going after Orange Cassidy. We already have the ROH Tag Team Champions in the Kingdom. And he said that Wardlow will be going after Samoa Joe for the AEW title. But then said that when he gets healthy, Wardlow is going to drop the title, like lay down and give him the title. And if you paid close attention, he gave him a look like he was behind, but he kind of looked like, pump your brakes, man. I don't know if I'm going to actually do that for you. I don't know if I'm game to do that. per se. And, you know, he said that MJF is gone and he's done and all this stuff. And it was very interesting because, you know, now we see that MJF is off the AEW website. They're really playing into the bidding war for MJF. But we all know, I truly believe that MJF has inked his deal with AEW. This is just a part of the story. I think that when he does come back, he's going to come back and he's going to be, as JD refers to it as, he's going to be like the Stone Cold of AEW. You know, he's not going to be a heel. He's not going to be a face. He's just going to be a fan favorite. Everyone's going to gravitate in and love MJF because he's going to be like the rebel without a cause or the badass, whatever you want to refer to him as. That's what he's going to do. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But I do see that in the foreseeable future, he will eventually cross to the WWE. I do believe Ricky Starks, there's a video that circulated. Ricky Starks, I guess, was training with some WWE people. And it's just a matter of time before he goes over there. He's close friends with Cody, and we know how that's going to go. Not really going to get into the media scrum, not going to get into the Jericho conversation, because I want y'all to just take a look at this photo right here. This is from the media scrum. That's all I need to tell you about how that man handled everything, how he just handles things in general. It's a joke to him. Who can take him serious? And this is the problem that I have with AEW. It's not even with the company itself. It's with the head of the table. No pun intended. No disrespect to Roman Reigns. But the man who's leading this is a goofball. Just look at that. Just look at it. In the middle of being asked a serious question, he answers with this on. This looks stupid. So that's my AEW stint for now. Do I get into the bidding war for Mercedes Moné? So Mercedes Moné, now let's get into the real shit, okay? Let's talk about CM Punk and Seth freaking Rollins. A couple weeks back, CM Punk made his decision on where he was going to be going between Raw and SmackDown. He made his choice. He said he's going to Raw. And the minute he did that, if you know, you know. But if you don't, here's what happened.
One of the most sought-after free agents in history makes his decision. Where's Punk gonna end up?
I walk back here through the hallways. There's a lot of ghosts, and I'm doing my best to face them head on. 10 years ago, I had to, for better or for worse, make the hardest decision of my life. I walked out. I'm here to bury those ghosts. I'm here to right a few wrongs. My future starts now.
The newest Raw superstar
is named CM Punk, and CM Punk is home. Burn it down!
Don't you dare call this place your home. You abandoned this place 10 years ago. Not only did you abandon it, but you actively tried to tear it down. This is not your home. This is my home. And I will do everything within my power to protect it from people like you. With every fiber in my being, I hate you. But if you're going to be a part of WWE again, then I want you on Monday Night Raw. Because the truth always comes out, pal. This is your last chance. And so, one of two things is gonna happen. Either you're gonna expose yourself, you're gonna self-destruct like you always do, and I'll be the first person in the back to slam the door shut on your legacy. Or if by some miracle you have changed and you've got any gas left in this old tank, maybe one day you'll be lucky enough to stand across the ring from me, and I will let you understand in real time what it means to be the best in the world.
Are you done? That's your one pass, to stand here and speak to me disrespectfully without me coming after you. CM Punk is entering the Royal Rumble, and when CM Punk wins, maybe, Seth, it's you he's coming after.
When I seen this clip, when I watched this in real time, I grabbed my laptop, I opened it up, I went on to find out how much tickets were for WrestleMania. Because if you had one match that was going to sell you on WrestleMania, it would be this one. It would be this one. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, franchise, it's a possibility that you're going to have Rock versus Roman. Cody versus Roman. Jade Cargill might show up. We don't know what this WrestleMania 17, which to me is the best WrestleMania of all time. But this is personal. I've been saying since CM Punk has returned, him and Seth Rollins is going to be epic. And it's not just going to be one match. It's not going to be one-off. It's not going to be a one-off. They have to have a trilogy. They have to. Because in my opinion, CM Punk will win the Royal Rumble. CM Punk will challenge Seth Rollins for the WWE title, the world title. You have to incorporate reality into this. We're starting to see this shift, and we've been seeing it, and with the announcement of Kevin Dunn leaving, we're going to start to see more of a change in the direction in how the WWE is going to portray stuff. You're going to get more glimpse of reality. It's going to be a blur of what's reality and what's a work and what's a shoot. That's what you're going to see. I've been saying for the longest, have these two go at it. Just have it. Now, some people have said that I've seen compare this in a sense to Rock Cena, Rock Austin, comparing it to all this. In my opinion, if I wanted to compare this to any other feud in the past that you had to sprinkle reality into this, it is the rivalry that made me. I just had this conversation with one of my coworkers. Shout out to Thomas. The match that made me fall in love with wrestling, which was WrestleMania 12 Iron Man match, Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels. I've been watching it since I was 5, but growing up, being 5, I'm not really invested into like what I'm looking at. It's just like, Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, like it's this stuff. But as I got older, and in 96, when I'm sitting in my living room watching this Iron Man match, I fell in love. It was the psychology. It was the storytelling. It was the being at the edge of this. Made me learn. And then after that, you got a story of two men who respected each other in the ring, but outside of the ring, they really weren't friends. They respected each other, but they weren't cordial. CM Punk and Seth Rollins can do the same thing. And I feel like they're going to do the same thing. I don't see CM Punk and Seth Rollins having any type of, I don't want to say heat, like backstage where we're going to hear about a brawl or a fight broke out between them that is not orchestrated by them. We're not going to get an AEW situation. Everything that's about to happen with CM Punk and Seth Rollins is going to be discussed and worked between them two. But no punches are going to be pulled. Like, they're not going to hold back. So I'm looking forward to seeing CM Punk versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. One way or another, we're getting that match. Whether he wins the elimination, or whether he wins the Royal Rumble, or he wins at Elimination Chamber, we're going to get Seth Rollins versus CM Punk. So, day one of the 2024 year, Monday night, Triple H posts a tweet. And in the tweet, he makes a statement that a former champion will be I cannot confirm nor deny, but you see it right here. Pretty much a former WWE champion will be at day one. So, a lot of speculation was going around. Who could it be? Stone Cold. Because everybody was thinking maybe they're not going to do Seth versus Punk at Mania. Maybe they're going to do Punk versus Austin, and this is going to be Stone Cold coming out to create the story. Some people was saying maybe it's The Rock. And I sat there and said, it could be, but why would he go to Raw? What will be the point of being on Raw when the person that everybody wants to see him go at is on SmackDown? Some people thought maybe it's Batista. Some people thought maybe it was not a male, but it was a female, and maybe this might have been Mercedes. And then Samantha introduces the champion. And it's Jinder Mahal. Now, when Jinder came out, I laughed. I said, this is a work. They're working. They are building. It's like I remember when, I think it might have been Jericho that has said this from time to time. I know a few people that have been interviewed, few superstars have said that Miz said it, where he dressed, remember when he dressed like The Rock and The Rock's music hit and Miz was about to come out and Vince said, wait, just wait. And you can hear and Miz said you can hear the crowd get loud and loud and loud. And then it hit a fever pitch. And that's when Vince said, now go. That's what you kind of got with Jinder coming out. But it was in a different form. See, the crowd was booing and like, oh, really? No, this can't be it. So then if you pay close attention to the background, don't pay attention to Jinder, but look at the background. You started seeing fans looking this way with their phones like this. Now, I'm not sure if it was the fact that people were setting up in that entrance area, like people, like they started seeing like people were, getting ready, setting things up, this, that, and third, or people just knew, like, nah, this is a work, so I'm just waiting for somebody to come out. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, the way Jinder was talking and Jinder was doing the whole United States is divided and da-da-da-da-da and did this like Iron Sheik type of thing, I literally was like, I better not hear I am a real American and Hulk Hogan comes out. Because I promise you, on everything that I love, I would have threw something at my television. And then I would have got mad because I threw something at my television. Because y'all know how I feel about Hogan. I'm not a fan. Never was a fan. Never will be a fan. Especially after all that he did in the past. recent past. But we didn't get that. The great one, the Brahma Bull, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment arrived. And we all know now that that segment went way over. Way over. And if you watched my reaction on the Instagram page, when he came out and he called him out, you heard it in the beginning. He called him out. And I'm going to play it again because it needs to be played again.
No, by the way, one more thing. Tonight, after all this ass kicking, The Rock is going to go out in San Diego. I'm a little hungry. I'm going to go get something to eat. When The Rock goes out to get something to eat tonight in San Diego, should The Rock sit in a booth? Or should The Rock sit at the bar? Yeah, The Rock loves the bar too. Or should The Rock sit at the head of the table?
Should The Rock sit at the head of the table? And what did I say as he was saying this? Because at first I'm like, I'm like, why is he doing it? Like, what is this leading up to? And see, I was so kind of, I think it's just because of the fact that it was The Rock, he was on Raw, and y'all know, like, I'm a fan of The Rock. And I've always said that despite my anger or my frustration with him, and if he's here, if he's not, if he's coming, whatever the case may be, I get frustrated. But the minute I hear his music, I fucking fanboy out, right? And I'm like, because I was so caught up with what he was saying, I couldn't, like, what is he talking about? And then he said, at the head of the table. And I said, you don't want to bark up that tree. You do not want to bark up that tree. Because let it be known, Rock, y'all know I'm a big Rock fan. But let's just be honest. The Rock was gassed, bloated, having that quick interaction with Jinder Mahal. So if you are like that with Jinder Mahal, let me make this crystal clear to y'all. Y'all know Roman is going to send him, he's going to pull him into the deep end with the sharks. And we know what's going to happen. He's going to put him in the deep end and he's going to drown. If he thinks that that's going to happen, if he thinks that if he thinks that he's going to have a puncher's chance against Roman Reigns, that boy needs to get into ring shape. He needs to get into ring shape. He needs to. It's just that simple. It's just that simple. After that, everybody started to panic. Everybody started to go crazy because they're like, oh my God, what does this mean? Where are we going with this? Like, where are we going with this story? I've had this conversation with countless people. My brother, a avid listener of the show, and sends all these messages on our Instagram page, Jalil. People at my job that are wrestling fans. Me and Ace haven't had this conversation yet, though. Where is this going to take place? Now, before I dive into that, because this is going to be the bulk of this episode, is this conversation right here. Roman Reigns responded to and then on Friday, the laugh. I incorporated both of them together. I did. And then Paul Heyman, the great Paul Heyman. This is what he had to say.
The Rock name drops Roman Reigns because The Rock wants to sit at the head of the table. To sit at the head of the table, one must be invited to a dinner of relevancy. The Rock has not been invited, nor will he be, because The Rock is just like everybody else. He's looking for a shortcut to the headlines. There's only two ways in this world to guarantee going viral. One, date Taylor Swift. Two, call out Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns wins a match, out comes John Cena. Roman Reigns wins a match, out comes Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns beats Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes still talking about finishing his damn story. CM Punk comes back to WWE after 10 years. Welcome back. CM Punk says he's the OG Paul Heyman guy, which he is, till I upgraded from best friend to advocate, and upgraded from advocate to wise man.
I want to be clear. There's levels that I'm going to, there's tiers, levels, tiers, however you want to word it. I'm going to break this down. Why there's two major questions as soon as The Rock declared this situation. Rock Roman Mania. Let's talk about that question first. Do I see Rock versus Roman happening at WrestleMania? No, I don't. I do not believe so, and I'm going to prove why it's not going to happen at WrestleMania. Now, for example, my friend Jalil, he states, and a lot of other people have said the same thing. As I said earlier, this is going to be the biggest, they're building this to be the biggest WrestleMania since 17. So you would put Rock versus Roman because that is the biggest, that is bigger than Cody versus Roman. The story may be bigger because it's layered. But Cody's story is a generational story. Theirs is generational too, but Cody's is like Cody is fulfilling a destiny that his father never got the chance to do. None of the Rhodes men ever got the chance to do. Okay? Rock versus Roman will happen, but it's going to happen in Australia at the Elimination Chamber. I'm going to play for you guys a series of clips from Busted Open, because Bully Ray and Dave LaGreca had a conversation. I'm going to play a series of clips, and I'm going to get back. Each time I'll come back and I'll discuss it. But the first one I want to do is from the day after day one, where Bully and Dave LaGreca talked. And pay attention to what they're saying.
Now, you brought up Elimination Chamber. Elimination Chamber is going to be in Australia. It's going to be in a stadium that fits 70,000 people. Could it be in Australia in this stadium for Elimination Chamber? I think there's a good possibility you could go that route, Bully. But at the same time, it's hard for me to say, all right, we're reintroducing The Rock on, January 1st, 2024. We're 3 months away from WrestleMania, and we're going to bring The Rock back, but it's not going to be for WrestleMania. I mean, that's a little hard for me to swallow, that you're bringing The Rock back, but it's not going to be for WrestleMania 40, which we both know, Bully, is going to be the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Do you think The Rock's going to come back and not be a part of the biggest WrestleMania of all time?
Hollywood is back open. I'm sure that his schedule is filling up, his responsibilities in Hollywood. What if he was only back for Raw last night and a select amount of events to highlight and main event the event in Australia, which I think that they're looking to be a real, a mega event. If you put the Rock on WrestleMania, he has to be against Roman. If he's against Roman for the championship, I don't think people are going to like that at all. That is a very forced fit. I mean, you could fit a round peg into a square hole with a hammer, but man, this feels even more forced than that, because Rock hasn't been around for a while, and just coming back and going into the championship, I don't want that. I know you don't want that. I don't think a lot of people want to see that. So if he goes to WrestleMania, it has to be against Roman. And then if it is against Roman, you can't have the championship on Roman. That means you have to put it someplace else. Who better than Randy right now, who's chasing that 16-time record to tie it and possibly beat it. And then you do Randy versus Cody, where there's a nice story built into Cody and Randy also. And let's not forget, Cody did retweet something I said about 2 months ago, where he says, let's run it back, a student versus the master one more time. So just trying to put all these little pieces together, which is exactly what they're doing in creative every day now. They may have it all locked in, because if you bring The Rock back last night to drop that first seed, to plant that first seed for real, you have to have some kind of a plan. You're not Triple H and Nick Khan going, you know what, Rocky? Why don't you just go out there and say this and stir the people up? But we're not quite sure where we're gonna go with it. We're gonna have to follow it up. There's got to be a plan in place already.
So we all know now it's not Roman versus Randy at Rumble. It's a fatal 4-way. But I wanted, like, let's talk about if you did do Roman versus Rock at Mania. You will upset people. People will be upset. The Cody fans will be upset because now we have another months before he could finish the story. Because I think you would, if you didn't do him at Mania, you would then go into SummerSlam, because SummerSlam is the next big event for them. You could do Money in the Bank, but Money in the Bank is more for the briefcase. It's, prolong it till SummerSlam? I doubt it. Now, the next one is exactly the reason why, one of the main reasons why you're going to have Rock Roman Elimination Chamber.
One of the things that we're not taking into account, and this I got smartened up by on social media. Australia to Samoa is a hop, skip, and a jump. There is a huge Samoan community within Australia.
I think about 100,000 people, live in Australia. Samoan people live in Australia. It's a huge population of Samoans in Australia. And like you said, it's very, very close.
The Australian government, I believe, or the city of Perth or whatever it was, definitely wants The Rock there. This almost kind of feels like a Saudi thing where they're willing to step up to get The Rock to come over. So there might be a couple of outside factors, but I cannot see The Rock sticking around past WrestleMania. What did you do? Does that mean The Rock doesn't appear at WrestleMania? No, because you have to screw The Rock over for Roman to go over at the Elimination Chamber.
The Polynesian numbers, population in Australia, Samoa, New Zealand, it's there. And a lot of people tend to forget the last time they had an event in Australia, it was a big event. And they're treating it, as Bully said, they're treating this like a Saudi deal. We will get Rock versus Roman at the Elimination Chamber because you can really incorporate their culture into this match. Remember SummerSlam where we had the tribal combat? What if you had, and this is what me and my brother have talked about, where you make it theatrical. You make it about the head of the table. You make it about that, right? Now, putting my creative hat on, this is what I would do in this regards to Roman versus Rock, and why Cody will finish his story at WrestleMania, and how the Rock versus Roman at the Elimination Chamber will play into him finishing the story at WrestleMania. Now, let's break it down. Rock versus Roman at Elimination Chamber. who comes out and screws Rock, as Bully has said. You get him to get screwed, The Rock to get screwed over at the Elimination Chamber. He gets screwed at the Elimination Chamber. Now The Rock is pissed, right? Because let's date back September 15th. The Rock was on the Pat McAfee show. This is what The Rock had to say in regards to having a match with Roman Reigns.
So the North Star thought was, okay, let's not do something good, let's not do something great, let's do something unprecedented. And it was in what can we create for the fans that has never been done before. A match, great. Roman, incredible athlete. He's going to be on Mount Rushmore.
Super handsome.
Right? Super handsome, good dude. My cousin, family, amazing. We can have the match, but the bigger thought was, what can we do for the fans in this business that we love that will, where WrestleMania isn't the end of something, it's actually the beginning of something bigger.
Got it.
So
what?
It's not the end, but it's the beginning. You get the beginning of this story at the Elimination Chamber. It doesn't culminate at WrestleMania. It's the shift at WrestleMania. So what happens? Solo, Jimmy comes out. They screw over Rock. Now, you can do one of maybe three possible things. Rock says, well, I need to get my get back at Solo and Jimmy. So this is what I'm going to do. Y'all two versus me. Jimmy and Solo. Or you get Rock and a partner of his choosing. Or they say it, Rock, you don't have nobody here. So you pick a partner of your choosing. Everybody might think it's going to be John Cena. But then we get Main Event Jay. Now, I know I said Main Event Jay Uso should win the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. I still think he will. If you have it where Rock has to pick a partner, let's say night 1, Jay Gunther. Jay wins. Night 2, Jay comes out as your Intercontinental Champion and defeats, with his cousin, defeats Jimmy and Solo. Why would this play into the main event? Because now what happens is you have the main event. You have Cody versus Roman. Then you have Jimmy and Solo come out to screw over Cody. Jay comes out. Rock comes out at the very end to screw over Roman. He screws over Roman. It's a big clusterfuck. But at the end of the day, Cody Rhodes wins the undisputed Universal Heavyweight title and finishes the damn story. So now that he's finished the story, you can now tell a bigger story with The Rock and Roman. And then this is where you possibly can get Ava involved. Because see, now you can get Roman to go after Ava. Not really go after her, but kind of like get her in a position of, I'm going, like, I brainwashed her. I've done whatever. I'm making this personal. You took something from me. You helped take the most precious thing in my world. My universe revolves around this title. I am the head of the table. I am the breadwinner. And you took this from me. You helped take this from me. So now I'm going to take your most precious thing from you, your child. The writings are on the wall, people. They are. Rock said it. He doesn't want to be just a one-off. He wants to build into something bigger than just one match at WrestleMania. No, you can't have Roman versus Rock just as a one-off. No, you have to tell a story. And that story is going to start at Elimination Chamber. It may end at SummerSlam. We have no earthly idea when this is going to end. But I will tell you, and I will repeat myself, it starts at Elimination Chamber. It is not starting at WrestleMania. Cody Rhodes will finish the story at WrestleMania. He will. Elimination Chamber is going to be big. It's going to be a major event. The population for the people in Australia, in that Polynesian, that Samoan culture is there. New Zealand's there. It's all there. You can tell a story. They will say, the Australian people will be like, listen, we will give you this amount of money to get him there. The Rock has said it's not about schedules. He can work. He can do the scheduling. He said it himself. Go back and listen to the Pat McAfee show, because he said scheduling, not a problem. I can do this. I can work around the scheduling. It's a matter of telling a story, captivating us, and keeping us going. That's what they're going to do. Jalil had mentioned Endeavor. Why would Endeavor not want to have Roman and Rock? That's a big thing. Yes, it is. It is. But we're in the storytelling. And wouldn't you want the first match to not be at WrestleMania? Because, I mean, we've seen that, Rock's not really in ring shape right now. So maybe this match at Elimination Chamber, he could get him little, all right. First one was second one will be better. Third one, knock it out the park. As I said before, this is bigger than the title. This horror title for the head of the table. It is for the head of the table. We are 7 days into the new year, and we are literally sitting here excited. I said it at the end. I said it at the end of the year. I said it in the post. Last year was arguably the greatest time, the greatest year to be a wrestling fan. 7 days in. And they're just getting started with the new year. Buckle up. Get your popcorn ready. Because we are going to embark on a journey like we've never seen before. Now, is The Rock going to show up on Raw again? I doubt it. What's the point? His intention is not on Raw. His intention is on SmackDown. So, this is what we can see. Royal Rumble comes up. Main event happens. It's the Fatal 4-Way. Roman Reigns will win that. AJ Styles, unfortunately, may take the pinfall. Now, Roman is celebrating. As Paul Heyman alluded to, Roman Reigns wins. Out comes John Cena. Roman Reigns wins. Out comes Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns wins. Out comes The Rock. You end Royal Rumble with literally the face-off we've been clamoring for years. We get that face-off. We get The Rock in the ring. We get Roman in the ring, and they facing off to each other. And it ends with, and then it makes it even better because guess what happens? Guess what will happen if you have that face-off? You know what's going to be in the background? You know, and it's just going to build more hype up. You know what's going to be in that background? That's going to have everybody thinking it's happening at WrestleMania. That goddamn WrestleMania sign. That's going to be in the background. But ladies and gentlemen, it's not happening at WrestleMania. Chapter 1 will happen at Elimination Chamber. Let me know what y'all think of everything that was discussed today. Y'all think about CM Punk, Seth Rollins feud, brewing, bubbling. What do y'all think of, what did y'all think of AEW's World End? What do y'all think about the Devil Reveal, all that stuff? What do y'all think about Mercedes? Is she coming to AEW? Is she going back home? And most importantly, where do y'all see the Rock Roman storyline going? Will Cody finish the story at WrestleMania? You know what to do. Leave the comments below. For everybody that's new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you do keep updates of when more content is dropping. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, RCW_podcast. Also, follow the Ace, RCW_Ace. He is I am the franchise, better known as Podcast Tribal Chief. This has been Wrestle Talk with the Franchise, presentation of Royal Club Wrestling Podcast. I'm out.